Hey everybody, welcome inside the studio today to another edition of Youth Baseball Midwest. I'm your host, Brian French, and we got a jam-packed show for you. We're going to start you off with an interview with a gentleman named Chris Dameron. He is a director with the Missouri Gators. Met him while we were doing the winter workout, and here we go. We got him on the show for you today with some great information about youth baseball and just talking general baseball stuff. Enjoy. I want to welcome our guest today, Chris Dameron. He is a local coach and one of the directors over at the Missouri Gators Baseball Academy. And I met him when we were doing the winter workout tour and reached out to him, and he was kind enough to come on the show and talk to us a little bit here today. Chris, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, definitely. I greatly appreciate you having me here, Brian. And, it was great talking to you when you came out and did the winter tour out there at the sports barn. Definitely loved having you guys in-house and getting to talk with you. And then I love following up and watching the productions that are on YouTube out there. I know you guys team up with Game 7 there. So love what you're doing for the youth aspect here in Missouri. And just love getting to follow you guys.
Well, so speaking of that, what got you into coaching youth baseball?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think everybody, that's always a question that comes up with anybody, especially when you get into coaching. For me, myself personally, my background, I'm from a very small little farm town up in northeast Missouri, Ellsbury, Missouri. Most people know it because of kind of two reasons. Either they followed Carrie Koch in basketball, which was an unbelievable girls basketball player we had back in the early 2000s. And I should say Coach Koch now because she coaches up there. Or a lot of people have been up there due to the river. And so being raised in a small town, as you could probably guess, athletics were a big piece of it. And I was very blessed and fortunate to play in a town where people really followed athletics and you had a passion for it. It was something you grew up and you looked forward to. And I had a lot of folks that helped me with athletic-wise and academic-wise to help follow me and help push me. And so when it got back into coaching, I love the game. And I think everybody can say that when they get done playing, they still want to be a part of the game in some way. And I knew that there was a lot of people that gave a lot of time to help me develop as a person and as a player. And I felt like, getting into coaching is really a great way for me to be a part of the game, but two, to give back. So whenever I jumped in, as I said, I didn't care if I was dealing with a 7 or 8 year old or if I was dealing with a 17 or 18 year old guy. Or gal. I just wanted to be around the game and be able to give back because I had a lot of people that had done that for me, and I think it was my service to do so.
Did you play, difference from today to back then? Did you play Legion ball when you were in Ellsbury?
Yes, I did. And that's another thing that's very well known. Ellsbury's Legion Post is very unique. It's one of the very few fields in the entire state of Missouri that actually has the baseball field at the Legion. And so Ellsbury's had 3 teams up there for almost a decade now. And there's a lot of involvement, it's because I always say they're kind of the boys of summer up in Ellsbury. So I was fortunate enough to play for the Ellsbury Legion when I was there. And the Legion baseball aspect was even a big piece back then. I mean, District 9, the district we were in, you could have up to 21 teams, and we always had right around 14, 15, 16 teams. And so getting through Legion was, I look back now, and you don't realize it at the time, but you look back and you look at the players that you played against and guys you played with even. And there's certain guys that, are still having a cup of coffee right now in pro ball. And also, too, a lot of them that went on to play at the next level collegiately, and also a lot of them that, are now in coaching. And so I look back at that, and that will always have a special place in my heart, Legion baseball, no matter what. I tell people that all the time. I will never change the days going and playing Washington or St. Peter's or O'Fallon West and playing against those guys. And it was because you had to lace them up and you had to be ready to go because, it was about as competitive as all get out back in those times.
And I remember I played Legion ball in a small town, and we're driving 2-3 hours away to play another city, another Legion post, and the rivalries are really, really strong, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of pride and passion based off of that Legion post you put across your chest. And I think the big thing about Legion Baseball that I love and has one of the most unique pieces, my first stint ever really coaching a full-on, baseball team, being the head guy and the go-to guy, was a Legion team. I had rotator cuff surgery in college, and so I was out that entire summer rehab. And so I coached a group of young men, and one of the really cool parts was about every time before the game, you'd line up on the baselines and you do you would go through the essentially the decree that we had to go through, the creed for Legion Baseball. And a lot of times there was a national anthem that was played before the game, and so just unique pieces that somewhat makes baseball so special, especially Legion Baseball, that you don't get all the time when you go on the ball fields. And so like I said, I wouldn't change those memories or experience for anything.
I'm with you there, man. That's cool. So, and speaking of that, from that time to now, club baseball, how has it shaped the culture of youth baseball today? What do you see in that?
Yeah, club baseball is, it's a unique beast in itself, and it's been a great feature, honestly. When I think about it and I look at it, Chuck Box, a very well-known coach down in Tennessee, high school coach, you hear him say time and time again on a podcast that, if there were more baseball fields built in America, there would be less penitentiaries built. And I feel very strongly with that, because I think baseball shapes you in a time and a climate just as a person and as a player. And club baseball really allows somebody to learn to set goals, how to achieve certain individual goals, and really look at it from a player to player, athlete to athlete, and then also from a team to team perspective. And the other side about it is I think club baseball really gives you a taste and an idea of what it's like as you look at a 7th and 8th grader right now. You're starting to look at what's high school baseball going to look like, okay? Right, well, then also what's college baseball going to look like if you choose to go that route. And so club baseball is kind of giving you a little snapshot of what that's going to look like. The other piece about it is I think it builds a more well-rounded athlete. If you look at it now, I think about the trainings that go on for players. Obviously we're still trying to hit the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball, but I look at the physical aspect of kids getting so much stronger, footwork-wise, from the agility aspect. And then even so, taking it to another step further, is the team chemistry and the mental strengthening that's going on in a lot of programs. It's unbelievable to see some of the stuff that is offered at some of these youth ages now. And I'll be quite honest, I'm kind of jealous of it to a certain extent, because I think back on my playing days. But I think that's what club baseball has allowed for that to happen. And so the really cool part about it is I say every kid has a certain kind of area as they transition into high school baseball. They either, one, want to make the team, two, they want to be a significant impact on whatever that team is, or three, ultimately they want to go on up and play at the next level. And I think club baseball allows you to work towards achieving those goals. Maybe it's getting 30 at-bats that year on your high school team. Well, if you wouldn't have worked your tail off all winter long, you might have not got 5 at-bats. Understand that what you did and the work you put in allows you to achieve that. And then overall, as we think about these young men and women moving further down the line, because our playing days come to an end for everybody, no matter what, I think it really helps transition kids into learning what it's like to be an adult and to set goals and how to achieve things and how to work and put together a plan and how to really hone in on strengthening a specific skill set or mindset.
Well, how many, you talk about those things and the team chemistry and the development early on, I believe, of relationships and how we can teach these young people how to build that relationship, because I'm sure those relationships that you developed, here you are in college, you had the surgery, but you're coming back and into the community and are able to give back. And because of those relationships you built, you're able to set yourself into that place and people remember who you are, and that just the development of that, correct?
You're 100% right. Without a doubt, I think no matter what, it doesn't matter who you talk about. They always say it's not it's essentially it's not the hand or the grade you make in college, it's the hand you shake. And again, networking is such a big piece, such a big piece. And I think that's the other thing when you think about club baseball, we're trying to build, obviously stronger young adults from a person standpoint, and then also too, obviously stronger players. Augie Garrido, you always used to say that baseball was essentially just a way of preparing kids for life. That's what he was, just using baseball as a tool to help them grow and get stronger as a person. But I think the other thing that club baseball does that is awesome, and this is something that will last them for a lifetime, is it's building experiences, like you said. And a lot of those experiences do have relationships tied to it. I look back, here we are coming off 4th of July weekend, and I was thankful enough to go back home and see some family and friends. And sure enough, we're talking about stuff that we did when we were 11 and 12 years old, playing in the MoCan World Series, or, remember this Legion game again, or you see a guy from college and, hey, how's the wife and kids, and how's this going? How's your mom and dad doing? I miss those days when they come out and watch the ball game and talk to them afterwards. And so, again, what is the keen thing that brings us all together is that little white pearl or that softball. And so I think that's also what the club side is doing now more than ever. It's building memories that are going to really honestly last a lifetime.
Want to get you out of here on this last one, and I know it's difficult. We're all dealing with this, but I think it's interesting in these situations because I spoke a little bit about it in our last show. There's always adversity we're going to face, right? So, with this scenario, with the situation that we had early on in the season, and how have you adapted, in the current climate, and how have you helped the kids understand, a little adversity, and this is how you have to deal with adversity when these things come at you?
No, certainly. That's definitely a very popular question right now. And I was raised and taught by my grandparents and my parents that, the good Lord never gives you more than you can handle. So there's a reason why this is happening, and there's something we can learn from it and take the positive from it. And I think that's the biggest thing right now is we have to find the positive piece about it. So whether that be more time with family, learning to cherish certain things a little bit more that we haven't been able to have the privilege of using here most recently. But the other side, I think, more than anything, is as baseball players, softball players, coaches, all those things, the game changes all the time. For example, we have a tournament this weekend. And, well, guess what? Mother Nature might get involved a little bit. And we might have to adjust the schedule. We might have to adjust the times. We might have to adjust the uniform we wear, because I'm sure Mom and Dad don't want us wearing our White Ranger uniforms out there when it's muddy and rainy and stuff. So I think this time has taught us, of how can we adapt to it? How can we make those adjustments? And, again, how can we stay positive with them all? And I think the biggest thing more than anything that this has taught me is plans in place, I'm a big believer in planning things out. Well, what this has really made you do is sit back and check and say, hey, are the plans that I have in place, are they ready to go once things come about? Well, hey, you know what? We can't practice in this area yet because they're not open. Well, we got to change this plan here. Well, we got to change that plan there. So it helps us from a planning and a development standpoint. But I would say right now too is the cool part is technology is unbelievable. I think people now are using probably more technology than they ever have in the past. Maybe because they were scared to use it. Maybe they weren't aware of it. But this has forced you to do that. And I think this is changing the game and the environment of how we can best utilize technology and be our best friend moving forward. So, there's been a lot of positives I can say to take out of this pandemic, what we want. And I think there's going to be some things that will probably change for the foreseeable future. Were they right? Were they wrong? I'm not the person to sit there and stand by that, but I'm the person to say, let's take the positive out of it. And I'm going to take my group of young men, and we're going to take the positive out of it, and we're going to keep running with it. So,
teaching moments, man. Teaching moments, right?
Uh-huh.
I think that's awesome.
Definitely.
Awesome. Hey, Chris, man, thanks for your time. I loved it. Enjoyed the conversation. And hope you come back and see us again sometime.
Certainly. Anytime you guys need me, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Again, thank you for your time and everything you're doing for the game of youth baseball. It's awesome. It's amazing. These kids are working hard, so they deserve a lot of recognition for it. So I appreciate it, Brian.
Great. Hey, everybody, Chris Dameron. We'll be right back. Hey, we want to say thank you again to Chris Dameron for dropping in, letting us take up some of his time. Good luck to you the rest of the way, Chris, and your team, and hope to have you back on the show again. Look forward to it. I want to give some shout-outs here to some folks that, one in particular, Kyle Knoll, who follows the program, Met Kyle, great kid. He plays for the Missouri Gators, and he sent us in a pic. He was out playing at I believe it was a league game where his team pulled off a win that night, 8-4. And I told Kyle, "Hey man, you get me a pic, buddy. I'll get you into the show." And hey man, there he is. Kyle, shout out to you. Keep it up, and look forward to seeing some more pics in the future there, buddy. Keep it coming. I got one other one here. This one comes from a family member of mine who lives in Knoxville, Tennessee. We follow them on Facebook as well, and watch that team closely. They were playing in a tournament this last weekend and pulled off a walk-off 2-run homer in the bottom of the 7th in the championship game. This is the RBI Red Stitch 108 15U out of Knoxville, Tennessee. My cousin, he's a second cousin. He's there standing at number 66, standing next to the coach there. Shout out to you guys, Braden. Great job, and all your teammates. Keep it up. I mean, walk-off 2-run homer. It doesn't get much better than that in the championship game, right? So congrats to those guys, and keep the stuff coming. We're always surfing the social network to see what's going on in youth baseball around the Midwest. Look forward to it. And we also have one more we were surfing, and Jody Berger, and saw a Facebook post from her. We got Jake Berger on here with an interview from that Facebook post, and here it is, and we'll be back in a moment. Jake, thanks for joining us today. I hope I didn't wake you up, buddy.
No, I had baseball camp before this.
Baseball camp. How's baseball camp going?
It's good.
Is it high school baseball camp?
St. Dominic, yeah.
St. Dominic. Very good. Very good. I know a couple guys that went to St. Dominic back in the day, the Bleckleys. So very familiar with St. Dominic. Been out there and umpired a few games myself. So very good. So we were scouring, as I said, we were scouring Facebook, and I saw that your mom had posted the fact that you hit your first dinger ever. Is that your first dinger ever?
Well, the first one over the fence.
First one over the fence. Awesome. And you guys were out at Woodlands Park, right?
Yes.
So I know Woodlands out there. What field were you guys on? Do you remember what field you were on?
Was it 21?
21? Okay.
Yeah.
How far is it to the fence out there? Do you know? Off top
It's
of your
like
head?
150, 160.
150, 160. And
200.
Well, my parents are saying like 200. I don't know.
okay, that's fine. Either way, man. I mean, if it's 200 feet, I know was at Cooperstown, and 12-year-olds, they got 200-foot fences. Hey, 11U, right? You're 11U, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And what team do you play for?
Missouri Elite.
Missouri Elite. Okay. So now here's the big deal. You're up at the plate. Walk us through the at-bat, if you don't mind.
The count was 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember the pitches before that, like how the order went.
That's okay.
I just remember it being 3-0. The kid just getting a strike, so he wouldn't walk me. And I remember it being 3-1.
Uh-huh.
I saw the pitch come in, and I just hit it.
Fastball?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel the ball off the bat, or did it just like eased into it?
I felt the ball off the bat, and I was running, and it wasn't until first base then I realized it was over. So
Very good. What was that feeling like?
I was happy.
Do you have men on, or was it a solo bomb?
It was a solo.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a picture here of you. I'm going to throw up here with the baseball and in front of the field there. You look pretty happy there, young man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, hey, congratulations on your first out of the park home run. Hopefully you'll have many more, and wish you all the best in the future. All right?
Thank you.
All right, bud. You have a great day.
Okay.
Hey, congrats again, Jake, and thanks for coming on the show, being a part of Youth Baseball Midwest. Everybody out there, keep those social feeds working. We're scouring, looking for all kinds of possibilities out there for stories. So we got one last story we want to talk about, and it is with some folks over at the Jordan Morgan Memorial Foundation. Mike and Nicole do a great job over there. They had done a trivia night a while back, and they posted here on Facebook. Again, we're scouring Facebook. This is Ashley. They provided this wheelchair for Ashley, and look at the smile there. And it was all due to the trivia night and all the people coming and participating, donating money, and this is what ends up being the result. The Jordan Morgan Memorial Foundation does a great job providing help for these kids, and they're just getting started. So I also then want to bring to bear that you can participate at the Jordan Morgan Memorial Foundation Golf Tournament August 16th. If you haven't already signed up, go to the website jordanmorganfoundation.org and sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's coming up quick. August 16th is not that far away, so hey, get in there, get yourself signed up. Always a pleasure talking about those types of things. Mike and Nicole, keep up the good work. You guys do a great job. And last but certainly not least, shout out to the guys over at Game 7 Baseball. Dave Penning, Dave Schmidt, doing a great job with the tournaments. Looking forward to more and more and more, and finishing out this season, getting some video. We look forward to it. So if you haven't signed up for a Game 7 tournament, get in there. Those guys do a great job. So make sure you put that on your calendar. Guys, you have a great day in the Lord, and we will see you next time on Youth Baseball Midwest.